Hello, Dr. Karen Can, and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest, which I have called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Haha. So before we go into that topic, I just want to let you know that if you are on YouTube and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, you can go ahead and do that now. And also click the notification bell so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. And feel free to comment below as well, especially after the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive and Activation. So apparently I am eating a little bit of crow because after I watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once the first time, I've watched it 3 times so far, I said to my friends who were watching with me, I said, you know, Michelle Yeoh should really get an Academy Award for this, but it's not going to happen because, you know, it's rigged, right? And the universe is like, okay, sure, yeah. Anyway, so my wish is my command, apparently, and yes, Michelle Yeoh did win an Academy Award, and the movie won another 6 Academy Awards. The first time a movie starring mostly Chinese people, Asian people, actually won the Oscars, and the first time a Chinese woman has won an Academy Award as well. So that's super cool, right? What's more super cool is actually the topic. Everything, everywhere, all at once. A lot of us sensitive souls have pretty much been feeling that sort of thing going on the last several years, and nobody seems to know, and understand what we are going through. And what that means is that we, as sensitive souls, are the first in the lot of humanity, if you will, to actually have our gifts or spiritual gifts expanded to a state where we can notice, feel, sense, things that are not necessarily from this dimension or this timeline. In other words, we can sometimes feel what's going on in alternate realities or alternate timelines. Now, many years ago, much, before I ever did light medicine as kind of like my main gig, I was an acupuncturist. And at the time, there was a patient of mine who had a family member who was sensing all sorts of weird and interesting things in her home and property. People dressed in all manner of outfits. Some looked like spacemen. Others looked like they were from ancient times and from all kind of time periods. And what was very interesting, which I was really confused then, was that she was seeing multiple versions of her husband. And she would be yelling at them saying, get away, get away, get out of here. You're not really him, right? Things like that. And of course, no one else could see what she was seeing. I thought that was really interesting, though, that she was seeing multiple versions of the same person, all dressed in different outfits. Maybe one is a mustache, one is a beard, And this is not your typical hallucination. Now, her doctors felt that, well, it was probably Alzheimer's, but having been a medical doctor practice, I'd never seen an Alzheimer patient ever manifest this kind of degree of wild, seemingly hallucinations. And the medications they gave her didn't do anything. So there's no point in her taking the medications. Now, when I, was given the opportunity or asked to maybe help out, I didn't have her in the room. We were doing remote assessments at that point. And honestly, my doctor mind was like, well, she's hallucinating, right? She has some sort of mental illness. However, on further testing, I actually got the message that everything she was seeing was real. It was real and it was really happening. So that really made me pause and think, what is going on? Now, I have words to describe it now that I didn't have then, but basically her property, her area, and even she herself was sort of like a portal or an opening, if you will, or where the veil between dimensions and time is very thin. And she was almost like a lighthouse in a way in there. But she, given how old she wasn't really necessarily trained, of course, in what to do with this. And also there was no one around, myself included, that could really manage those symptoms at that time. Now I have a lot of tools to manage something like that. Why? Because she was the first person to experience such really intense symptoms. And since then, there have been many, many, many other sensitive souls who are gifted, who have their awarenesses expanded, who have their clairs expanded, their clairsentience, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and so on and so forth over the last few years with the so-called ascension process or the expansion process of humanity. So with this expanded gift or gifting abilities, sometimes it can get a little hairy in terms of what we are able to sense and feel. Now, in addition to that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it talks about and shares and expresses in full technicolor what it feels like and sometimes looks like when we are experiencing multiple timelines at once. There are other films and TV shows that are also echoing that theme. For example, Sense8 is a very, very popular series. I think it was on Netflix, maybe. It was a number of years ago, but I didn't see it until more recently, where they actually had a cliffhanger and then they finally had a movie to end it. Luckily, I got to see the whole thing in its entirety. And in that series, it was a different concept, but it was like, I kept thinking Light Being Starseeds. You know, if they were fully activated and fully able to use their superpowers, they would be able to, among other light beings who are in a human body, be able to borrow, learn, and absorb the other talents and gifts of the other person. So in the Michelle Yeoh movie, she actually has her mind basically, well, they talked about being fractured, but her mind being able to connect to the other timelines where she has skills that could be really useful in this timeline to overcome the so-called villain. Okay, I won't tell you more about it. You got to watch it. It's a very long movie, by the way, and it's kind of gross and weird sense of humor, so just be aware. It is violent. There's fighting in it. But that whole scene of those like multiple timelines where, she's one occupation, one timeline, and another occupation, and various different things. Wouldn't it be great if we could tap into and specifically call on those skill sets from other timelines that could really be useful, or maybe all of our talents, right? From all of our timelines, where, maybe one timeline we're a painter, another timeline we are a martial artist, right? Which is what she was in one of the timelines, and so on and so forth. So what can happen if you are sensing multiple timelines at once, but not aware of it? Well, it could get kind of uncomfortable because you could be feeling a lot in the body. That's called clairsentience. So you could be feeling pains or even, an illness happening in another timeline, which is affecting you as if it's happening in this timeline. In fact, I had 2 former patients have very serious illnesses, and one actually collapsed a lung, the other one had a heart attack due to what was happening in their alternate timelines. Now, for the one that had the heart attack, she was still seeing me as a client, so we were able to do TOLPAKAN healing and figure out, what the artery was that was the problem, what the issue was, and the multiple timelines kind of thing, even those things out. And she was able to 3 weeks later not have any heart damage on echocardiogram at all, and everything went back to normal. So as far as any doctor could tell, she never did have a heart attack, even though she did have a heart attack. So these are really neat things that you can be aware of, that you can have experiences from other timelines. You can even sense what's going on in your home in another timeline. And if there is negative or low vibrational energy in your home in an alternate timeline, sometimes that can bleed over into this timeline. We call that an alternate self syndrome, for lack of a better term. So there's a lot that's becoming mainstream in terms of multiple realities, multiple timelines. The Flash is another series I really like on TV that talks about multiple timelines. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, the Multiverse Madness, something like that. Yeah. Multiverse of Madness. There you go. It gives you an experience of multiple timelines as well. Does it have to be negative? No, it does not. It does not. Like I said, what if we could tap into those skill sets from our other timelines and remember who we really are in our totality of being? So today we're going to do a TOLPAKAN healing activation that may support you in being able to sense whatever you need to sense for your highest and greatest good, what's useful to you right now, and not necessarily be aware or sensing what is irrelevant to you right now. Okay, because what happens with these ascension upgrades, I call them, or expansion upgrades, is that sometimes we're suddenly, it's not like a gradual, oh, we're increasing our spiritual gifts gradually. Oh, I can handle this. No, sometimes it's like, boom, it's like, whoa, right? You wake up one day and you're like, what just happened? And so one of the things we can do is rebalance your awareness. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of weird. Rebalance my awareness. What does that mean? Well, if you are fully present in the now, which all these spiritual teachers tell us is the best thing to do, right? If you're fully present in the now and all your energy circuits are in the body in the now, there is no negative emotion, because the negative emotion is either the past or the future. You're just in the now, in the now, in the now, in the now. Ideally, according to what Source has been telling me and divine muscle testing, that 95 or more percentage of our awareness ideally will be in the now, and maybe 5% awareness of the whole, everything other than the now, meaning other timelines, other realities, other planets, blah, blah, blah. 95% in the now. I can't say that's necessarily what I'm experiencing every day. However, knowing that that is the ideal, you can get into the now immediately. And we'll go through that in just a moment. And here's the tricky part. I also found out that while sleeping, that we can be overly aware of other, let's just say, data that we don't really need either. And that can cause us nightmares, can cause us problems with sleeping, waking up a lot, things like that. So you can have an awareness balance that's really, really good during the day, but have it suck at night. So that at night, you're really aware of certain things that you don't need to be aware of, and some of them may be disturbing. Case in point, there are some people based on past trauma or their habits or their habitual thoughts, when they go to sleep at night and they get this ascension upgrade, all of a sudden they are more aware of negative low vibrational energies like entities than they are of the positive vibrational energies. Yeah, we have both, right? And in fact, some may say that we have less and less and less and less, entities we have to deal with, because they're coming up for clearing all the time, more and more and more. So we don't have to deal with that as much now than, say, 10 years ago or 5 years ago even. However, there are some people that have a tendency or habit to be more aware of the negative stuff and less aware of the positive stuff. And we don't want that necessarily, right? To choose that. And typically what happens is there's a gradual evolution, if you will. Once people are aware of low vibrational entities or energies like demons, ghosts, things like that, or entities that are related to extraterrestrials or extraterrestrial tags or dimensional implants, things like that, then what happens is that they're always looking for it. And I get it. It was fascinating to me too when I first, heard about entities and it being a real thing, right? From Dr. Bradley Nelson, the body code, motion code practitioner, a teacher rather. And so I was looking for it everywhere, and wherever I looked, I found it, right? But here's the thing. It's equally important for us to put our awareness onto what it is we do desire, rather than just what we don't want. Otherwise, we get more of what we don't want. So if your awareness is not balanced while awake, and particularly when asleep, you could be preferentially becoming aware and therefore experiencing the negative stuff in your life, if that makes sense. And definitely put in the comments below if you need a little bit more explanation from me on that. What we're going to do in the TOLPAKAN healing this week, if you'd like to receive, is first of all, get into that 0-point field through the body to get the body into the here and now energetically, right? Then we're going to do some TOLPAKAN healing directives to help you balance your awareness within the time while awake and then while asleep. And apparently there are different aspects of the now as well that can be balanced. Your awareness of the different aspects of the now can be balanced as well. Now we go into great detail related to that in the TOLPAKAN Level 1 training program, but I'm not going to share all of that here with you. But just so you know, we're going to do a little bit of a, grand directive here to just get you in the right path to make your awareness a little bit more balanced. More in the now, less of the whole. The other thing I want to mention is I had a friend of mine who came into the office one day and said she thought maybe she had a stroke or something because she couldn't really talk. Like she knew what she wanted to say, but she couldn't spit it out, right? And then we found her awareness balance was way off. She was aware of way too much of the whole and not enough of the now. So we rebalanced that, and immediately she was able to express herself. Another time she came in and she said, well, I know people are talking to me and I know it's in English and I know I should be able to understand it, but I can't. And I keep having to ask them, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, please? Right? And people were starting to get a little annoyed with her. And she thought, did I have a stroke? I'm like, no, we didn't have a stroke. And in this case, it was the same thing. Ascension happened, an upgrade, boom, her spiritual gifts expanded. In fact, she was actually seeing quite a bit of ghosts, reptilians, all sorts of things, with her clairvoyance lately. And yeah, she was just aware of too much. And it's like the brain was like, okay, English. What shelf is English on? Right? And so she couldn't understand it fast enough. So again, we rebalanced her awareness, and boom, she was able to understand people immediately. It was not a problem. So we're going to do that for you today. So let's first get into the stillness or still point. Let's go ahead and get into our bodies. Go ahead and rub your hands. If it's safe for you to do so, go ahead and close your eyes. And then just focus on the inside of your body. Feel your hands inside or underneath the skin. And then focus and feel the flow of energy and the waves coming from the hands and anywhere else in the body. And in this space where you are focused on the energy and the movement in the body, we are entering the 0 point field, that place of infinite possibilities where we can do amazing healing work, and you can auto heal in this space. All right, so continue feeling that flow. I'm going to do the TOLPAKAN healing directives, and you can just feel and sense if you notice a change when we do each of these directives, kind of like orders to the universe. Here we go. I now command that your awareness balance, while awake, be completely balanced in the highest and best way, that your awareness of the now be solidified to 95% or greater, or whatever is for the highest and greatest good for you, and the awareness of the whole 5% or less, whatever is for the highest and greatest and good for you and all your timelines with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Ooh, I got a surge of energy in my hands here. Okay, second one. I now command that your awareness balance while asleep be optimized and balanced fully, now and in the future, with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. It's now commanded that the awareness balance within the now be balanced to whatever it is, whatever aspect is for your highest and greatest good, all directions of time with speed, ease, and grace in all timelines where you exist where allowed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just take a moment just to feel the energy in the body again. I know for me, I feel like massive pulsing in my hands right now. And go ahead and open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. I'd love for you to type in to the comments what that felt like in the body, either before, after the activation, or during. And then you can do this for yourself anytime you feel a little kind of funky and you're feeling like, whoa, am I here? Am I here? I'm not sure I feel myself. You can go ahead and just do that directive and do and command that your awareness be balanced in the now, while awake, while asleep, right? And then within the now in the highest and best way. So you can make up your own directive. If you're watching this, you've already been activated with the TOLPAKAN healing frequencies. Lucky you. All right, some announcements coming up. So the Monday Light Warrior radio show, I have the great pleasure of airing an episode with the wonderful Barbara Ditlow. She is a human design consultant, and we talked a lot about how human design can really support your personal evolution. And to really know who you are in this timeline, like how do you really work? How do you function? I am a manifesting generator, in human design, and it makes a lot of sense, which is why, you know, people sometimes look at me and go, wow, Energizer Bunny, how did she do it? She did, you know, like, how does that work? Right. And so it is really easy for me to do multiple things all at once, everywhere all at once. Yeah. Anyway, it was a really, really fun conversation with Barbara. We talked about where human design came from. She actually was trained by the originator of human design. She's going to explain the frequencies, the 4 main frequencies of the human design, or those different types. I asked her what the difference between that and gene keys is, and that was a very interesting answer, so check that out. And then how knowing our design can really help us in our decision making, and even know, like, you know, when to take our next big step. So if you're interested, it is Monday, March 20th at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll be airing at that on Light Warrior Radio. And if you can't make it live, you can always click the link and watch the replay. So we're airing it live then, and then you can go ahead and watch the replay whenever you want. Some other announcements, cool stuff, new stuff. Just a reminder, we have the Light Warrior Training Camp coming up at the end of May, beginning of June. So you definitely want to book your tickets now to the event, as well as reserve your room at the Lake Clear Lodge and Resort. We're going to be very, very well taken care of there. It's a beautiful place. In fact, this is the entrance behind me of the lodge at night. And there's a beautiful retreat center. It's, you know, full of nature. There's a lake vortex. And right now, as of this recording, there's a super early bird pricing, which is about 78% discount from the regular pricing. So it's a 5-day in-person immersion. And we're going to be doing all sorts of really cool workshop exercises, as well as really just having fun and hanging out and watching movies and dipping in the lake and all sorts of really cool things there. And so give yourself a beautiful gift of training, presence, healing by coming to the event. I would love to see you in person. It'd be so, so cool. So again, it's the Light Warrior Training Camp, May 28th to June 2nd, and you can go to lightwarriortrainingcamp.com for more information on that. We only have 25 spots for the super early bird, so you definitely want to get your spot now. So the second announcement is in the Light Medicine community. It's our free community on Circle. There is a replay of a workshop that I did a couple of weekends ago called Prosperity and Community, the Elemental Journey. And that's through fire, air, earth, and water. That was super fun. And we had a lot of great feedback on that. That replay is ending this weekend. So if you had not had a chance to check that out, definitely log in to the Light Medicine community to watch it. So I'll put that link below. And if you don't have a free account on the Light Medicine community, you can get one. And I'll put that link as well underneath this video. And a couple other reminders. Next Friday, March 24th at 5 p.m., it's going to be the Supercharger Healing Abilities Workshop. It's about a 2-3 hour workshop with my mentor, Marcus Bird. He was my business mentor for many, many years, and then now a dimensional therapy mentor and teacher. So I love his work. He loves my work. It kind of, you know, like connects really, really well with each other. And so it's a really great opportunity. It is pay as you like. So you can pay $1, you can pay $97, you know, for the workshop. And I think you're absolutely going to love it. If you wonder how, you know, I do such, you know, awesome trainings, it's because of Marcus. He actually taught me how to teach. So thank you, Marcus. Last but not least, the Energy Healing Leadership Conference is coming up in April, as well as the Wealth Revolution interview that I'm part of. And we'll put some of those details below as well underneath this video. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on YouTube or wherever you're watching this next week for the next Spiritual Medicine Digest. Until then, lots of love and bye for now.